Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dave Sebastian, coordinator of Mentoring Arts Programming with Wayside. We are finally together again. I feel like I have only done one live stream in the last couple of weeks. Sorry about that, guys. But I am excited to be back. I don't know if any of you guys saw that we were at the Northeast Collectibles Extravaganza this weekend. Had a pretty good time, met a lot of folks out there that I love talking to. One of the funnest parts of my work is the idea of being able to meet someone new every day and talk to them about whatever they're interested in. Both my job at Wayside and my personal time, my personal job as an artist. Really enjoy that. Really, really fun stuff. So today I wanted to tell you guys a bunch of stuff. All right. So first, we are back in the studio on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 6. Anybody 16 to 26 years of age is totally welcome to come on up and hang out with us. We are doing a variety of media. Excuse me. Like paint marker, paint pouring. We did scratch board this week. Collage. What else? Ink tents. Custom toys. And digital. Procreate on the iPad. That pretty much covers this week. Anyone that comes to the program is welcome to do whatever type of media that they enjoy doing. I mostly stock the place with medias that I'm relatively familiar with. If there isn't something there that you're interested in after your first visit, we'll figure that out. Got terrible dry mouth in here, you guys. Let's see what else I got for you. We are also beginning our advertisement for a program called Photo Voice, which is a intro to photojournalism. You know, it's like telling a story with a picture. So what you want to do is you come into my program, which is at 68 Henry Street in Framingham, and you come at 6 till 7:30 on Wednesday nights, and we're going to talk about artwork that has told a story, and then we're going to eat pizza. And the next week, we're going to talk about some artwork that tells a story. Hopefully, look at some of your pieces that you've tried to tell a story with, and then we'll eat pizza. So this goes on for about 5 weeks. At week 6, we have a small show. We print all the artwork large format, 13 by 19. We place them on display in a public place. I'm working on ATAC, which is a gallery in Framingham, a really good bunch of folks. And at that event, you will share your photography with your community or anyone you choose to invite, and you will tell us what you wanted your piece to say. We asked the young adults to write a paragraph or two explaining what they were hoping to say with their piece of artwork. I've had a lot of different interpretations of the work, and that's also a great thing. Like, what do you want to do with your artwork? You know, like, what do you want to say? It is exclusively a photography program only because it's designed around photography. I had a few people had asked me about that, and it occurred to me that, you know, maybe we should do one that's not photography, that's drawings that are trying to say something. I think that's also a fantastic idea, except drawing and pizza don't go together that well. But I think we could probably work that out. So that's kind of what's going on with that. That's Photo Voice. That starts on the 3rd of August, and it goes till about the second week of September. Excuse me. That's pretty fun. You know, I like it there. So that puts our 2 things out there. Other than that, the road program is kicking up, considering bringing our program out to a number of new communities. One of them specifically is the town of Spencer. We're going to be working at the Spencer Fair. Hopefully folks will come down and get a free airbrush tattoo and check out our programs, which are coming to your area. What else? Grafton. this Grafton flea market. We might set up there and distribute some information about the free programs. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would like to share with you guys. I do work for Wayside. That is a funded agency from the Department of Mental Health. But I work with everyone. So I am super excited to be with you guys here today. So I think that's all that I wanted to say about like stuff going on. So now we could talk about what we're doing today. Today we're working with the comic Hellboy. And it occurred to me that I forgot to get who this artist is. I'm ashamed of that. I think it might be Tyler Crook. So let's say it's Tyler Crook. So I am using an issue of Hellboy, the Conquering Worm, which was a comic at Free Comic Book Day. If anybody out there has seen my videos, you've heard about the method that I'm using, which is I'm a comic collector. So when my books got damaged, I couldn't throw them away. So I decided there'd be a new way to repurpose them. So the idea was to build them into collages. And the first one I did was for Jack Kirby, famous Fantastic Four creator. And after I finished it, I realized that I love Kirby's artwork, but I rarely go back and read the issues that he drew. Meaning Kirby's awesome in my head, but I don't really see him. And if Degas was your favorite painter, you'd have some of his paintings up in your place. Or your desktop would be one of his paintings, or something like that. So I thought, man, maybe I should try to see if I could do another Kirby one that like typifies some other things that he's done that I like. So I did one about Mr. Miracle, another character of his that I've always thought was cool because he was such like a niche underground, a super escape artist. That's a pretty comic book there. I love it. And once I finished that, I realized that I totally love looking at that too. And then it just kind of exploded from there. Like I started making my way down all of the artists that I think are, are talented or that have affected my personal style. And I've tried to pull stories out of their work. I mean, one of the things that I'm doing is eliminating text. It's about the artwork in the books. So text, though the story is important, the dialogue is important, and I think writers are incredibly talented, and I'm not anyway trying to say anything against them, except that aesthetically, word bubbles don't work for me. And it's rare that you can, what I'm trying to do is to reinterpret the story, like trim out pieces or make it my own story or idea. So text negatively affects that process. So I take text out. Actually, you know what? The bottom line is that word balloons don't look that good. And so I'm repurposing these books. My own books got damaged. That's what motivated me initially. And then I just started to make my way through all of the artists, comic book artists that I've liked, that I wanted to be able to look at. And the more I look at them, the more inspired I get by them. And this is just a really great thing. I've done, I think, just about 140 collages so far. And it's been going great. There's no end in sight, really. I have 5 more ready to go after this one. And they're just more coming kind of all the time. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm bringing them to Comic-Con. That's what I consider to be the show of the work. And then everything I create here goes on to Instagram. My Instagram is toast, the word 20, and the number 3. You can go there and check that out if you want. So the piece we're working on today is from Conquering Worm. I went through this book a couple of times. I love Hellboy stuff, but this is kind of a setup issue for the story. So there wasn't a lot of Hellboyish action. What there was, it seemed to be, was a lot of interesting architecture. And I really love the attention to detail that comic artists are required. This is like 1940s Europe, and this artist Tyler Crook is able to like represent it, completely believably and not distractingly, Like this is like really just a backdrop for his characters, and it feels that way. He's doing a really impressive job. So what I decided to do was pull the architecture out, and then as I started going through the architecture, I realized that the character Von Klimt, who has a swastika tattooed in the middle of his forehead, but that is a little bit uncomfortable for me, generally speaking. Hellboy stuff is really heavy with swastikas and things like that, so I apologize for that in advance because I think it really, is ridiculous or whatever. I mean, I understand the context of it in Hellboy, and I love Hellboy, but it's just an unfortunate fact of, what I'm trying to do over here. You know what I mean? I have been really resisting doing a Hellboy piece because I like Hellboy really a lot, and I don't want to misrepresent his work, or the character. I think that I easily could do that. So I'm trying not to. And that's pretty much the deal. Got to figure out how to make everything here work. I believe what I do is I create the piece in sort of like a general kind of way, and take it all, photograph it, and then take it all apart and try to rebuild it using cuts and the glue and that kind of stuff, and create the piece. So here's where I'm at right now. He's talking. I just gotta grab a brush. Lately, I've been using these disposable foam brushes. Totally great. No cleaning of a brush. You just take it off and throw it away. It's really great. I totally love it. Yeah. One of the funnest / not funnest parts of being a collage artist is not losing the most important piece. It seems to always be what's going to happen. All right, here we go. Let's see. You guys see that okay? I think it looks pretty good. There we go. All right. So usually you collage and you overlap to the right. Always overlapping. Overlapping to the right. And so when you get to the end, right, you start. If you were thinking of the end, you mostly start overlapping to the left. But I'm not really doing that these days. I kind of tend to do corners and then kind of work my way in. This hasn't been totally successful. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, and it makes holes and stuff. And then you got to patch, and I'm trying to tell a linear story. So patching a linear story is extremely challenging. Keeping in mind why by the time I'm at this phase right here, there isn't any work left. There isn't any material left. I'm at the end of the comic. I've taken everything that I want out of it, and I've thrown most of the rest away because if I can't use it, I don't want to carry it. So this is a challenge methodology, but I also find that it works really well when it comes to this feeling of stability. Like one of the things that is hard for me about collage is that you're kind of off on your own in this sea of detail. Now I have this artist, his vision that can help me, but I still have to figure out a pattern to work with that. So that is something that also needs to happen. So just need to line up a couple of more pieces right there. So of course this process, over there we go. This process, the process of making sure you know where the pieces you want to use are, is probably the hardest part of this project, like at all, you know, because I am constantly losing pieces and constantly changing my mind. So you lose it, you move it, and then you change your mind, but you've already lost it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's really, really annoying. There it is. I also am using this tool here, which is a paper spatula. Really, really, really great product. Helps a ton in getting things where you need them to be. I just need a scissors. I'm using a Fiskars blade, but some stuff you really need more of a razor for. All right, we're gonna stick our first piece down. It's usually pretty scary. It's kind of exciting, but it's also pretty scary, you know, because, you know, this is the part where you immediately start screwing up if you're gonna screw up. I have my Mod Podge in like a ketchup bottle. This is mostly because I haven't been able to find anything really better. This is real annoying for me because I'm looking all the time, and places like Michael's and stuff have just not come through for me. Plus, I just hate that place, so I have a hard time going in and not flying into an insane rage while I'm in there. All right. One of the problems with a ketchup thing is that it doesn't always stay unclogged. Gotta get in and unclog it. All right, let's try that one. Yay, there we go. I mostly do squares. I don't know why, but I mostly do. All right. I think we needed more glue than that. Yeah, still not totally ready to go. Yeah. All right, one more time. Still not 100%. Okay, now we're gonna flip out. Take the cover off if I can get it. There we go. It's pretty wide open. True, I haven't used it in a little while, but I've been doing skateboards lately, and that sort of takes up a bunch of time. That does not want to work. First time I've had the brush shed. All right, that's our first piece down. Oh my God, it's exciting. I forgot one of our important tools. This is a brayer that you can use to roll out artwork to keep it nice and flat. All right, we're gonna shift over a little of our stuff here. This one, for whatever reason, I kind of started off center a little. So we got to deal with that. Looks like an A. Come on, stupid thing. Yeah, let's stay coming out like that, gay. I always feel like if you tell it exactly what you want, it'll usually work with you. If I went over far enough. Nope. All right. There we go. One of the things you have to kind of watch out for in collage making is getting too much glue on your brayer. Once every few months, I take some rubbing alcohol and clean all the glue off, but it's a disgusting process. Well, disgusting is the wrong word. It's a messy process, I guess. All right. So usually a good thing to do while doing collages, I have found, is to continue moving sort of back and forth so that you can lay out what you want. You know what I mean? I mean, so you can keep from working on top of what you just glued. Because you'll find you'll get it on your hands and stuff, you'll get it on the brayer, and it'll ultimately just make a big mess. So you don't want to do that. What did I need next? Oh, there it is. All right. Now I know I want this one in this corner, so I can go ahead and put that guy down. All right. Another thing to watch out for when using Mod Podge is don't over brush it, because you really, it's real easy to brush it off. But you think it wouldn't be for glue, but it is. I say that as a crafter who has used glue for 37 years. I've actually been using glue, Mod Podge specifically, pretty heavily over the last, I'd say about 3 years. And it's been going great. I'm having a fantastic time. Mod Podge is my friend. He's a good friend of mine. Alright. So I totally overestimated on the size of these two pieces. So I am going to have to trim the cabinet back a little bit. This is like an interesting little headpiece I came up with. Looking to do something like that. Just like that, except I'm going to have to trim a piece of this guy out. I like to at least save a little bit of my workspace to stay open so I can do custom cuts. Get this guy right in here. Throw a little glue on that guy. 1 sec. Reference turned off. Oops. All right. Gotta do something. Gotta have fun with it. Let's see, here's an example of how I shouldn't do it, which is that you shouldn't be going right on top of what you just glued, especially when I didn't need to. Just a little bit of a line there. Be white underneath anyway. I'll have to hit that with a black marker. This guy over here seems to be popping up a little. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just an illusion. All right, so now we got this side looking pretty good. I think I'll jump back over to the other side over here. And this side we can work on too. So we can do the lightning bolt one here right now. And then the other side for the overlap. That'll work. When it works, it finally works. That's a good deal.
Hello, Dad.
What's up, buddy?
Is there a charger in here?
I think there is somewhere over there by Ren.
You doing Abe Sapien one?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, this one is like Herman von Klimt,
Who the heck is that?
another Hellboy character. I'll show you a picture
Why
of
are
him.
you doing some?
I like him.
I mean, you're already doing the surfboard.
See?
Love.
That's him. He's in the guy in the jar.
He's the guy in the jar.
Just the head. He's just a head in a jar.
Classic funny comedy. Heads in jars.
Oh, yeah. Classic silly horror. With his heads in jars that are still alive. See, that's him closer up.
He looks like Abe.
He does kind of. He does kind of. Alright, now we gotta kind of figure out what to do with this thing right here, because when I was planning it,
Hasta la vista.
see ya, Mackie. For some reason, I had less room than this. Hey, you're staying? I don't know. Stay, I guess. Alright. See, that's a good, like, overlap. And, you know, I feel like corners make me feel better. You know what I mean? They, like, give you some stability, you know, like something to kind of cling to, like this hundreds of pieces trying to figure out how to make them all work. Like, you need something that says, it's going to be okay. See? And coverage is one of those things, but not the most important one. Or I don't even know what the most important one is. Alright. Now that we got that one, gotta figure out how we're gonna make this one work. I forgot to plug my machine in. One sec, you guys. Alright, back to what we were doing here. Alright, kind of trying to figure out a way. Don't want to glue it down accidentally. How we're going to make these two things work. Because I don't want Hellboy in the story. So this picture of Hellboy falling, not going to work. Know what I mean? not going to worry about it yet. Go ahead and put this guy down. There's a significant piece here. Oh, dripping glue all over the place. It's very often that I overuse, that I use too much glue. But I like having the time, what I think of as wiggle time, to be able to move the piece, sort of shimmy into a spot if you haven't really nailed it. You know what I mean? Very nice. Oh, see, that's shimmy time right there. Very important. Otherwise, you just screwed up the whole deal. Looks like that cut on the edge isn't perfectly straight, which honestly doesn't surprise me in the very least. So I'm real good at cutting crooked lines. Been doing it for years. A lot of levels I don't even care. Just so happens that this one runs down the edge. But you need to have at least sort of flat. Alright. Where are we going next? Quite gonna work. Alright. Well, I think on that one, let's go back over to this one.
My Crocs in here.
Your Crocs are. Where did I just see them? By the pile of clothes downstairs in the dining room, right at the foot of the stairs. There's like some other shoes there. They're right there.
Right. Grammy is here.
Oh, you didn't ask me for them earlier. All right. Kids today, they're always in a hurry. Pull a little bit more off the bottom. Alright, think that'll help us. Not a solution, but it's a little bit of something. not get right on top of the other piece because that'll make it ripple. Okay. Where should we go next? Oh, I know. This corner up here we haven't been yet. We got this big pipe I want to bring in here. Yeah, just like that to make it look like it's a part of that pole. This would be more of a column. Right, column. Excuse me. Excuse me. Alright. Alright, jump around a little. I got a lot happening in there. What we got over here? Large piece where our character is sitting. Oh, there you go. Get this other piece right here. Let's do that. I love it when my glue is working. Really makes the job a little bit easier. Even though I use the term draw pretty lightly, this is definitely something I really enjoy doing, so it's not a job. It's a lifestyle. All right. That didn't work out. Oh, whatever. Oh yeah, I can fix it later. There we go. Get that little pediment thing there. So the next thing probably be down here. So that's got to wait. This guy over here a little. That one's kind of a big one. I'm going for it. All right. See if we went far enough over. Almost. Remember what I was saying about brushing the glue off? This is a real good example of that. See, now the glue's going to stop working because I jinxed myself by saying it was doing well. Go. That's a big piece, like I said. Good one though. It's a good one. That's an important piece. Think of another bridge here. Go. Right, where to next? How did I expect this to work again? geez, my cat came up to see us. That's kind of cool. My cat is extremely busy, and she wouldn't come by unless she needed something. So I'm guessing she needs something. Really, I try not to cut on top of other pieces because it tends to screw everything up. Pretty much figured out what I want to do with that. Huh. You know something funny, you guys, is this is not Tyler Cook. This is Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, his artwork. I should have figured that when I first looked at it. That works. All right. Problem solved. At least right there. All right. Now we haven't done. Oh. Oh, damn. I hate when that happens. Gotta be careful with my stuff. Oh, yeah, here's another piece of that. In case I need it. Yep. That's the next thing we need. I said, whatever you think is the most important piece, that is the one you will lose. Mark my words. Happens to me every single time. Every time. Usually like right around now. Dead center during a live stream. And of course it'll be like right there in front of you. I was putting all the Aaron stuff over here. Aaron Von Klemp. That is totally not his name, but for some reason it's stuck in my head, so I'm going to call him that. Let's see if I dropped anything important. I believe I have. Oh, I could jump here for a sec. Not mean to cover the street. I was liking that. I think it's something for that little spot there. A little bit mechanical. That's my cat also coming to say hello. She says, pet me. Pet me right now or I'll hurt you. But I'm a little busy for cat petting just now. spot that's mostly. Oh, wait, I can't. All right. Bray that out a little. Feels less than perfect. Missed a little there, but we can yap that up. Totally made it so much worse. All right, same thing. Keep moving around. around. Keep a moving around. More cat. Visitation. Hi, cat. What's up with you, dude? Really? I don't think that's true in any way. I think the cat totally made that up. Hmm. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna trim this a little. thing is pretty dark, and then we got that thing. See, it's got that funny color. That's gonna work. Another example of entirely too much glue. Good deal is that the sponge tends to hang on to a lot of the glue, so you can use it in the next spot. Quite low enough with the glue here. See, that's getting lots of glue on the brayer. Kind of sucks. Alright. Maybe head back down to this area down here. able to work with that. First one. That looks pretty good. Right. Do want to do what I do want to do. Is I want to open up the side here. Too much glue again. Like I said, at least you can kind of hold on to it on the brush. Hold on one second. Every once in a while, my computer turns off, and there goes my reference. Right. We are bumping around pretty quick here. Rippling right there. Gotta try to fight that anytime you can. Alright, so we're gonna take a minute on those. Yeah.
What's up?
Nothing. Just working.
Whoa.
Everybody says hi, Mac.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yeah, that was one idea, I guess.
This? Or down here?
Yeah. That size is a little different than the size I was working on here, even though I don't know how that happened because I was working actually on this piece of paper. Only thing I could see is some of them go over the edge at the top.
Yeah.
So when you pushed them down, it didn't fit quite the same. So I'm trying to fix it or work with it, whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you got?
Oatmeal cookie.
Oh, I see how it is. Taking my oatmeal cookies, huh?
There's a lot left. Psych, there's only 2, but
Oh,
there's a lot
jeez.
left.
You jerk face. They're not even mine. I don't even know where they came from.
This is a bad charger. It's been charging for an hour and it's at 17.
Yeah, that does sound bad.
Chicken wings. I like chicken wings.
What are you gonna do? Well, nice of Mac to stop by, right? Because he's extremely silly. for a sec. One tiny cat keeps coming back. She just wants to hang out with us. All right. Okay. Around a little more. Oops. Hmm. Okay. Where are we going next? Okay. Show the progression of this guy coming. Okay. So now, it's weird that there's the same exact image twice. It's very odd. Like, why would that be? There's not enough goddamn images? I mean, you could paint anything you want. There's no rules. closing in, really. Only have this small space left. We have another shot of him like coming. brick here and there. And a little more brick here. Alright. Alright. Probably gonna have to wrap it up after this piece, because we're pretty much out of time. Let's see if there's anything else I can just drop in there. I just need a little more bricks. Alright. Those two pieces in. Okay. Looks good. guess the timing was pretty good because that was all the pieces I wanted to use in basically the way I wanted to use them. Couple, snags here and there. But generally speaking, I feel like it looks really good. I was excited to work on it today. Like I said, I have 3 more collages ready to go. They're cut. They just need to be glued. If anybody is interested in watching me do that, I'll be getting the first one on Monday. So you guys can come on out and check it out if you want. I will catch up to you guys then. All I have to do now with this is Mod Podge the front and go through and touch up anything I need with the marker. Anybody has any thoughts, questions, comments, please throw them over here. I would love to hear from you guys. Yeah, I think that's probably it. So take it easy, you guys. Nice to see you.